All right, folks, day 4, WrestleMania weekend.
Day
we
4,
are.
we've survived.
Where is this? This isn't quite Beverly Hills. Almost. We're going to a special event. We're going to Mitzvah Mania. It is a local show, a first-time show for the Jewish community here. I am not Jewish. I do support my Jewish brothers and sisters. But this lineup was too good to pass up. I had to come. We got Colt Cobana, Chris Masters, QT Marshal. We got Cartwheel. What else we got? We got a few others I can't remember. I'm sure it'll all come back to me. But I don't believe this one's going to be televised. So I will try to scoop up all the highlights that I can for you. And then after this, we got WrestleMania day 2 or night 2. So stay tuned. I have to be ready. I'm so fucking with this thing.
I'm more than ready. Green
this,
light, action.
For some reason, it won't zoom.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is WrestleMania day 4, weekend day 4, Sunday night.
Are you ready?
Give me an action.
We're ready. It's day 4 of WrestleMania weekend. So I did a cold intro to the event we were doing earlier today, Mitzvah Mania. And I want to go ahead and do a little recap-y poo before we move on to tonight's main event. As has been the trend all weekend, I got my best bud Marky with me.
Let's go!
Follow him at all the socials.
Marky Makeup, markymakeup.com and Instagram. Markymakeup.com and Instagram has a lot of great clips from the matches we're going to talk about. Join me for some full-scale stuff over at YouTube, Marky Makeup, YouTube. Celebrity red carpets, shenanigans, theme parks, Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
Great CM Comic-Con coverage if you want to see it. Some of you, if you want to hate watch it, you can hate watch it too. I'll take any of the views. Today's show, what are we talking about?
So, as my cold open suggested, we went to Mitzvah Mania from Second Wrestling. It was a event held at the Bethlehem Temple here in Los Angeles. And it was featuring Jewish competitors for the Jewish community and beyond. We are not Jewish, but, you know, the card was amazing, and I really wanted to support the cause anyway. So we went, and I'm so glad we did. It was awesome. It was such a intimate venue. I would say there's maybe 200, 250 people max. I felt like I could reach out and shake any of their hands at any given moment. You know, it was great. Simon, give us an up. And the card was sick. The card was so sick. Any opening thoughts before we get into who was who?
If you ever see a cool rock band do like a local show, like they announce it that day and you show up at the venue, or if you see them like unplugged or acoustic, that's what this felt like. Just wrestlers wrestling right up close and personal. No guardrail in a gym.
Mm-hmm.
Sign me up. One of the very few times I'm ever going to see some of the guys we saw, QT Marshall, Colt Cobana, Lisa Marie Vaughn, just hanging out. And some future stars, I'm sure, were there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Masters, some people remember Chris Masters. Just hanging out, just wrestling.
It was a family affair. I intentionally didn't buy us seats because I didn't want to take a seat away from, you know, Jewish kids never been to a live show before. But it was not a sold-out crowd, and they basically just said open seating if the seat wasn't previously reserved, which I thought was pretty cool. They did have ringside seats. They had a little tiny bleacher, and they had a designated entrance area, so we knew where to focus our attention. We weren't lost looking around for folks. And the first match was one of the most high-energy matches of the night. We had a scramble match, which we realized later was a qualifying match for a local championship. And the match consisted of...
Introducing first, from Atlanta, Georgia. And apparently, LA's favorite wrestler.
Yeah. Okay. He's so angry now.
Techno-Witch Kid And introducing third, from the dirtiest South, the Heartbreak Kid. Rockin' Finley.
All right. Tough legacy to live up to. Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah.
From
Not the name I would have chose.
Illinois.
Uh-oh.
He is the one-man dynasty.
Oh.
Darius LaTrell.
So stupid.
Representing Phoenix, Arizona. She is
Gorgeous. Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah, she's stunning.
from
Those sparkly tights, huh?
Alabama. He is the Alpha Saurus. Ezio Orlandi.
And they put on a hell of a show. They even, because it was the pre-show, they even did a dive, like, full on into the chairs that were empty at ringside. And I think that was the only big dive of the night. It was crazy. Uh-oh. Whoa-oh. Whoa-oh. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, no. The humanity.
But I think there was a second small dive, but I don't think it was major. I don't remember exactly. This one was a lot of fun. This was technically the dark match, sort of.
The elevation match.
Our fun ring announcer told us that it was the dark match. This one was wild. It had all genders, all body types, all sizes, and you could kind of see a range of experiences as well. Highlights for me for this one was just seeing Kid Bandit's always hysterical, and it was funny to see some of the smaller people try to hack down Big Ball in there.
Oh man, LaTrell! I don't know how tall he was, but he had to step over the top rope to get into the ring. He was tall, so he was easily the target in the beginning, and it was great. They did some great spots in there, and they really highlighted everyone's individual styles. You know, there's a very solid mix of styles there. Tons of fun, no complaints. Would recommend. I forget who won that one. There was so much going on.
I probably have it here. I don't know who won. Oh, listen, if you go to indie shows, you know there's some shenanigans. There's a reason we can't remember who won. What was the reason? Indie, if Jim Cornell out there, he's going to call this Indie Mud Show Outlaw BS. It was a tie. Oh. There was a pin out.
Not the frog splash. What? It's a tie. It's a tie.
There's too many. There's too many people.
Why don't you fight about it?
Why don't you fight about it? I think that's what they were just doing. That's how we got dead.
Do a fight off. General manager's making a decision. What's the GM got to say? That's right.
So who knows who the? Because remember,
it was Alan Angels and Ezio Orlandi. They both got a pinfall on an opponent at the same time.
Yep.
And the rabbi, who was
He
also
did. He
the
came
general
out,
manager,
and what did he say?
he said it was going to be deemed a tie until the footage could be further reviewed, and at that point we realized this was going to pick up at another show. So
yeah, so cliffhanger.
Still no contender for that local championship.
Bonus cliffhanger.
But hey, if that means they get to book Allen and Orlandi against each other later on, that's fun. You know, why not? I would check out Ezio Orlandi on Instagram. He's fun. He has the strongman gimmick. He came out with a chain, a solid chain, across his shoulders, and he got up in the ring and he ripped the chain in half, and you're like, what the heck? How did he do that? It was great. We had the opportunity to hang out with him and chit-chat with him the night before as he was doing some volunteer work with GCW. So I love getting to know and supporting these indie guys, because, you know, one day they're going to be huge.
Like I said, if you see an acoustic band and they're big, and then, you guys know what I'm talking about.
I just want to draw attention to this amazing Queer World Order shirt I got at Big Gay Brunch.
This available on PolloDelMarFans.com. I actually don't know where it is, but it might be. Pollo Del Mar's merch booth.
It might be. It came in 2 colors. It came in this purple and pink. I love it. I love it. Hopefully they'll have some more for you. If not, too bad. Limited edition. Ooh. Anyway, moving on. So, let's get to the Jack Cartwheel and Royce Isaac match.
Cartwheel. Oh my goodness. Jack Cartwheel.
So I have to...
Just being a good little Jewish boy. Coming to the ring, wearing the tallis.
I didn't realize the music had changed. And Royce Isaacs, the big, power, muscly man that he is, was the bad Jewish boy in this one.
Yeah. He was pretty. He was even after the show. I was like, but it works.
He committed to his character, but it was every bit as entertaining from both sides of the camp. You know, the bad boy versus the good boy. What? He's gonna do that flagpole. Let's do it. Nah, Royce is big boy. He got him. Suplex? I was gonna walk him around the ring, bro.
Really?
Wow. Okay, Royce. All right, Royce. That's impressive. Look at this one over here. She's loving it. From the outside? Whoa. lot of these kids had never heard of any of these guys before or had seen anything like this before, and it was a real treat to see all these little kids just reacting to the feats that Cartwheel performs.
If you find this show online and you pay a small fee to see it. But understand this: there are people in the ring. There's a referee. There's an additional character at this particular show, which was a large front row of children. This show was PG or G-rated. It wasn't like blood and guts or barbed wire. This was a fun, wholesome show. The front row was kids, and they were their own character.
They were a part of the show.
We will probably reference them several times. They loved Jack Cartwheel. It was precious.
Yeah,
it was a lot of precious things.
We saw a few moms, taking some pictures of Mr. Royce Isaacs as well. That man is beefcake for days.
The moms loved, men in tights.
Great match. That one ended, of course, with the hometown hero scooping up the win. Woo-hoo-hoo! That's his finisher. Then we had, let's see, another match I want to chit chat about that we really enjoyed was, let's get into it. Let's get into Chris Masters. Chris Masters was there, y'all. Chris Masters, Master Lock from WWE was there. Again?
And tonight, I have an open challenge because I'm sure that none of the schmucks in that locker room can keep up with the one and only South American superstar. So, as the great Rabbi Dwayne Johnson said, just bring it.
Not the masterpiece. Oh, that hair. Very 80s. Masterpiece! Answering an open call challenge from one Ariel Levy. And as Ariel liked to remind us multiple times throughout the night, he was the world's, biggest South American Jewish superstar?
Something. He was something. He had a claim to fame that he liked.
Yeah, he was South American and he was Jewish, and that he reminded us multiple times, but he was great. For a very small package, he had a lot of condensed muscle, and he got flung all over the place, and
he looked like he was in great shape, and you thought, wow, that guy is a big, strong guy, and then Chris Masters came out, and you went, oh no, that's what a big, strong guy looks like.
Chris Masters, he, I don't know if it's practiced so much so that it's just ingrained. He still has that air of confidence, some might say even a little scent of arrogance.
Oh, yeah.
But he came out there and he kind of reminded me of like the old wrestlers from the 80s. He's got long hair now, swooped into a mullet, kind of curly in the back. He's still huge, just massive. He's wearing white trunks and gold accoutrement, and he's big and toughy, and it was awesome. It was a contradiction of sizes and talents, and they were chasing each other all over the place. And
Chris still uses the WWE theme song. And there was definitely, I'm going to talk about the crowd again. There were definitely local people, and then there were wrestling fans who had never been to LA and were there for wrestling. and they popped big for Chris Masters.
Oh, yeah.
Some people were like, "Wow, big guy," but there were
the people who knew.
the people wearing wrestling shirts.
Yeah.
Were like, "Wow, this guy."
Yeah, let's get into that. Let's get into the crowd before we move on. There definitely was a group of individuals who were there for the wrestling, and they were like up in the bleachers intentionally because the venue felt very homely. It felt like we were at somebody else's house, and you don't want to take Grandpa's good seat because the chairs were full of families. Like he said, we had one full row of nothing but children. We had the fathers behind them. We had a grandmother in front of us, and I told her, take this seat because sometimes they dive, and she said, thanks, it's our first wrestling show.
If you got there late, your chair may have been knocked out of place.
Yeah.
But there were definitely people wearing yarmulkes and people wearing wrestling shirts, and the divide was
interestingly
clear.
enough, there was a handful of people wearing both.
There was some crossover, but some people were there because it was what everybody was doing that weekend.
Yeah. Well, so even though there was no title on the line, Chris Masters responded to the open challenge and walked away victoriously with, of course, the Master Lock finisher.
He did. People popped big for the Master Lock, and anybody knows the big full Nelson. Mm-hmm. And Chris Masters he's big. He's big. The tour life might not be for him, but the local scene.
Yeah, good for him. Next match I want to talk about. Let's go with we're going to skip around. This technically was the main event and was the last show of the night. And it was a championship match. I did not realize Second Wrestling had a championship. And apparently it's an intergender championship because the current title holder is none other than Billie Starkz. She's been vibrating across the indies lately. She had some brief appearances on AEW recently. She's picking up steam, folks. Billie Starkz is hot right now. And she defended against none other than Havoc. We never got Havoc's first name. This little punk girl. Oh, she was just a spitball of mean energy and Stone Cold Steve Austin knee braces. Okay, yeah, nice. Sure.
I like her style.
Yeah.
She's coming out here with both knee braces on. Good for her.
Yeah. And the match was refereed by a guest, none other than Lisa Marie Vaughan.
Lisa Marie Vaughan, she came out. Some of you know her, Tara. Most of you know her as Victoria. But the crazy hair. She has the crazy hair. She still comes out. She came out to the tattoo song. All the things she said.
Yeah.
And she did the crazy hair, and she is. She must have been born. She's one of those Broadway babies, born theatrical.
Yeah.
Will die theatrical.
She could turn it on so quick.
Yeah,
too. It was funny.
She's always a ham. If you get to see her at a Comic-Con, you probably won't have to pay to do a meet and greet. She's always in front of her table, talking with people. Very gregarious, always exciting. So don't be shy to talk to Lisa Marie Vaughan at a Comic-Con. She'll tell you a crazy story. But this was a good one.
It was a good one.
There were some brutal moments.
Yeah.
But
there were
fun.
Yeah, it was it was really, I mean, we were not trying to take anything away from Billie Starkz or Havoc, but really what we were doing here was saying, hey everybody, don't forget Victoria's still here, She played it fair. The girls had a rough match until the match was over and Havoc didn't want it to be over. So, of course, Victoria had to put her in her place. What is our move? Oh, my. Oh! Sorry, Lisa Marie. But despite all that, Billie Starkz retained, and it was a cute match overall. One thing I appreciated was in the sea of children, it was probably 3/4 boys, and the girls were in the back writing love notes, and one was sitting right in the middle of all of them. And Billy made it a point to go and put the belt in her lap and pose with her, and all the boys surrounded them and stuff like that. And that was really cute. And then Victoria got a little bit misty on the microphone and said, out of all her time doing this, she had never considered a Jewish-oriented, let alone been to or been involved in a Jewish-oriented show like this. Hosted at a temple, put together by a rabbi. Like, it was pretty cool. It was very endearing. Really sweet moment. Anything?
It was a good match. A lot of people, I'm noticing, some folks who watch perhaps the more mainstream event that is happening this weekend have noticed a significant difference, myself included, and some other people have noticed that in WWE,
some other people who
in WWE they're pretty close. Some of these indie matches are straight up full contact, and this one felt like the straight up full contact ones. Some are a little more stiffer than others, and I feel like I want to lean in and go, hey, y'all don't have to kill each other. Y'all don't have to go and hurt each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see some pile drivers and some shenanigans, and it's like, hey.
Yeah. So now let's get to what was my second favorite match of the night.
Oh,
and
favorites.
It was a big team match.
He's picking favorites.
Hey, I am. This one was a favorite because two of our favorite talent were on the same team, so it was easy to identify who we were going to root for right from the start. But it was a big, messy 8-man tag match. 2 teams of 4 were supposed to square off. It was Team Miller, as in Simon Miller from WhatCulture.com. He does the ups and downs of the nights and all that stuff. Turns out, he's a pro wrestler, which I did know. I just didn't know he came on this side of the pond to stretch his legs a little bit. On his team, he had another favorite of ours, the Israeli action figure, none other than Gal Barkay, who is an up-and-rising star out of Boston.
Out of Boston.
Originally from Tel Aviv, Israel.
If you're up in Methuen, Mass, go check it out. His local shows.
He's gorgeous, too. He's gorgeous.
He stands out in the crowd a little bit.
Fair but tan, and he's got naturally red hair, but he's 100% Israeli. Oh, he's gorgeous. Along with them, they had the young prodigy, Mr. Bodie himself from Las Vegas. I don't know how old this young man is. He could be 16 or he could be 23 and just look 16.
The universe has given him both young looks and small stature. He was very Marco Stunt vibes.
Yeah. He reminded me of like a character from Malcolm in the Middle. Like he just looked like one of the brothers just happened to wander into a wrestling match. But it's Brody the Young Prodigy is his name, and he's just a ball of energy himself. And they had a tag team partner with him, and I'm losing it. I cannot remember his name.
Who was the guy with the long hair from Portland?
Yes. He had really long, straight hair, kind of a urban look, like spray paint hoodie and leggings, and can't remember his name for the life of me. And I'm sorry, buddy. I apologize. I feel bad about that. But their opposing team, and I'm not going to remember their names either, I'm just going to call them Team Zane, were from a rival podcast or broadcast, I believe. And that was the whole point of this match. It was Team Miller versus Team Zane. Zane himself, more of a managerial type ringside character, not the most prolific wrestler. And because of that, he decided to add an additional member to his team, thus making it a 5-on-4. So there was a lot happening in this match. I will say I don't know most of the folks over in Team Zane, except for the Battle King, David, how do you say his last name?
Dutra.
David Dutra. We're from the same hometown, and turns out we damn near almost went to the same high school together. But, yeah, this match was the messy fun you expected it to be. It was just bodies everywhere. Oh! He said, "You stupid little kid." How old is he?
Take some bumps though.
Hey! Blue Thunder Bomb. Oh! Ow. Bodies everywhere. Okay. That looks like it hurt.
Oh, big eye rolls.
Puns galore.
Oh, there was one character who was a late addition who called himself the Chosen One, and he had a lot of religious iconography to say, and he had the gefilte fish was his fist was his finisher. Shenanigans. He really got into it. But this was 5-on-4. This one was a cluster. This one did have a dive. I have a dive on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
But the dive went the other way, and not the hard camera way towards us. But it did not last long enough for me. I think everybody could have got their shiz in a little more. But it was a spoonful of sugar. It was a wild, I don't want to say brawl, but it was a wild fun.
And unfortunately, our heroes, Team Miller, did not win. Those dastardly heels over at Team Zane pulled it out somehow.
Yes, we lost to the Gefilte Fest.
Okay, moving on to my favorite match of the night, and it was every bit what we expected it to be. The match was made early on in the card. It wasn't set prior to the show. And it was none other than QT Marshal versus Boom Boom Colt Cobana. This guy over here.
Colt Cobana! Boom boom!
He's looking at pictures of Gal over there.
Colt Cobana!
This guy. No, it was I have seen plenty of comedy matches. Never had I experienced one like this up close. He's pulling up pictures from the match and it's ridiculous. These guys put on a comedy sketch. It was amazing. It was like watching Lucille Ball, only in the wrestling ring. It was it was awesome.
My face is starting to hurt.
I don't even know where to begin on this one. Oh, man.
Oh, I know exactly where to begin. Folks, if you have ever seen a 1970s Jerry Lawler house show match, this is exactly what it was. Not a single bump was taken. There was a lot of inside of the ring, a lot of outside of the ring. At one point, Colt gave him the full Nelson, and all the kids got to chop QT Marshall.
Oh, I love it. That's adorable.
It was a Gaga clown show, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I enjoy it. He was kind of over it. You've seen one, you've seen them all, right?
A lot of the take a powder and get the heat.
Back in my day, our strong men bent rebar.
Yes, if the kids had never seen it before, they probably liked it, but oh boy.
My face was hurting. It was amazing. It was hilarious. At these shows, I like to try and take some highlight videos, because usually you can see when a big spot's about to happen. I damn near recorded the whole match, which was not my intention. They just had me laughing for so long. And it wasn't just them. It was the kids getting into it. The kids were slinging insults, and QT was ignoring Colt, and he was just going at it with the kids, which is why the kids all got to slap him, and it was a good time. It was a good time. I know the parents were just eating it up. They had never seen their kids have such a good time. Yeah, it was brilliant. There was a little bit of wrestling to kind of wrap it up a little bit, you know. We got to see the old boom boom elbow, and he attempted the flying apple, but I think he missed. I think that's one of my favorite moves he does. Yeah, so it ended, of course, with one Colt Cobana taking the win. And
Now imagine if Colt lost this match.
that would have been funny. That would have been funny. I think the kids would have started throwing chairs at QT Marshal. I mean, it started when they were announcing them in. Like, it took them at least 15 minutes to start the match because they were going just with the ring announcements. That was hilarious. And I gotta say, I've always appreciated how QT Marshal commits to taking heat in AEW. He's a pro at taking heat. He knows what he's doing, and he'll do it as long as he feels like it's needed. And I can appreciate that. And I gotta say, the gentleman looked good tonight. I didn't realize how good QT Marshal looks in person. He's a handsome dude, and he was tanned to hell and back on a handbasket. But anyway, enough of that. Great show. I think a lot of the specialist moments about the whole event was after the wrestling was done. I'd say 80% of the talent came out. They had tables lined on either side of the gym prior to the show even starting. And each of the talent got to go lay out some merch or just hung out in the crowd if they didn't have merch. Gal Barkay came out in his wrestling gear. He didn't even change into some sweats. He just came out and hung out. And I asked him, I was like, where's your merch? He's like, I didn't have time to get any together. So I'm here to take pictures and chit chat with y'all. You know, we got to have a conversation with Cartwheel. We got to have a conversation with the Battle King.
Today was kind of a funny day because, of course, it is day 4. If anybody, I made this reference, if anybody has ever seen the movie Almost Famous, I pull this reference from that for the past 4 days, we've seen the same wrestlers and we've seen the same fans. So it kind of has become a traveling circus of sorts. We've seen Cartwheel. Cartwheel's seen us every day. We saw Mike Bailey Speedball every single day. He wasn't at the show, but you know, you start to build a slight rapport with them. A lot of them had things to say, like they are excited that the week has come to a close. They're ready to go home and stop getting beat up.
We were talking about recovery, you know, remedies.
So
you know.
it's really fantastic. They're all super casual. And I think if more people had this experience, they wouldn't be out there paying $100 to meet The Undertaker. If you see the ring... If you see the ring covered in T-shirts of the guys that are just hanging out,
yeah,
that's more authentic to me than hey kid, thanks, give me $100 next.
Here's my rolly bag suitcase of the
so the rolling luggage comes out.
The little bit of merchandise I was able to squeeze into my luggage.
Yes, you
is
get all
everything
kinds
you
of
want,
stuff.
you know.
So do yourself a favor, stay after an indie show and bring cash.
Yeah.
Probably leave with an autograph and a picture or a T-shirt or whatever. So this was yet another successful show. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely was. Yeah, like I said, we got to converse with a lot of these guys. We traded socials. They were already, you know, tweeting each other back and forth.
It's funny. It's funny
great
to support them.
It's awesome.
You know, Roman Reigns isn't going to tweet me anytime soon. So
yeah, get in the ground level when you can. I say, yeah. So yeah, great show. Huge contrast from what happened later on tonight, but you're going to have to click on the next video to hear about it. So, once again, I'm going to have to wrap this up. This is Wrestling Boys with Derek Stone and Marky Makeup.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see ya in the next thumbnail. Deuces.